Okay, imagine you're standing right at the bottom of this just huge mountain. Your heart's pounding, right?
Mm,
But it's not just the climb ahead. It's this tiny voice inside, maybe not so tiny, yelling, I can't do this. It's too much. I'm not strong enough.
yeah,
That voice, that single thought, that can be a bigger wall than the actual mountain.
absolutely. It's often the real barrier.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're not just talking about literal mountains, obviously, but that inner landscape. You know, the one that decides if we even start climbing.
Right.
We're calling this one the power of belief. Believing in yourself can change everything. And our mission, really, is to dig into how our beliefs, the limiting ones and the empowering ones, actually build our reality.
And we'll be looking at this through psychology, through health research.
Hmm?
There's a lot of fascinating stuff here.
Yeah, there really is.
What always strikes me is how much we kind of underestimate our own thoughts. You think, oh, a belief is just an idea.
Right, abstract.
But no, they are actively shaping your opportunities, your health, even who you connect with. So by the end of this, you, the listener, should really get where these beliefs come from.
And crucially, get some real practical ways to start shifting that internal story for actual tangible change.
Exactly. Actionable strategies.
Okay, so we hear this term limiting beliefs all the time. But what if I told you the really sneaky ones aren't just, negative thoughts floating around? What if they're actually patterns our brain created way back when trying to protect us? And then the flip side, overcoming them isn't just thinking positive.
No, it's often more specific.
Right. It involves something called self-efficacy. So let's unpack these two big ideas, limiting beliefs and self-efficacy.
You really hit on something crucial there. Limiting beliefs, fundamentally, are those thoughts that just hold you back. Self-deprecating stuff.
Like what? Give us an example.
Well, common ones are like, oh, I'm not really good enough to handle this project, or maybe I'm too young to be taken seriously as a leader, things like that.
Right, imposter syndrome territory sometimes.
Totally.
Oh.
And they're not random. Often, they do stem from the brain's basic drive to avoid pain. Maybe a past failure, something critical someone said years ago, or just general fear. That feeling of being an imposter. These things plant seeds.
It's kind of scary how early they can start, right? Like maybe even childhood without us clocking it. And then they just grow, silently shaping our choices.
Exactly, and the impact. It's huge. They keep you kind of stuck, feeling negative, blocking you from trying new things, new experiences.
I've seen it really damage mental well-being. And in work settings, it absolutely kills creativity, kills team morale.
Oh, definitely.
Imagine having a great idea in a meeting but staying silent. Not because the idea is bad, but because that voice pipes up, who are you to suggest that?
Precisely. So if those limiting beliefs are like chains keeping you at the bottom of that mountain, then self-efficacy is like your high-tech climbing gear. It's your belief in your ability to succeed at a specific thing, a specific task.
Okay, so it's targeted confidence.
Yes. Albert Bandura, the psychologist who really dug into this, stressed its importance. It massively affects how you approach goals, tasks, challenges, everything, really.
So if you've got high self-efficacy, you see a tough task not as a threat, but as like a puzzle to solve.
Exactly. Something to be mastered. You're more likely to jump in, put in the hours, the effort. And interestingly, when you hit a snag, obstacles often make you try harder. It's that, okay, challenge accepted kind of attitude. You see it in people who achieve a lot.
Okay. And the flip side, low self-efficacy.
Well, people with low self-efficacy tend to avoid challenging tasks, which makes sense, but it also means they don't grow, don't develop those skills.
Right. Avoidance reinforces the belief you can't do it.
Precisely. And when obstacles pop up, they tend to get discouraged quickly. Give up. You might hear that internal script. See, I told you I'm bad at math after one bad test. Blaming innate ability, not, say, needing more study time.
Okay, here's something I found really interesting in the research. The ideal level of self-efficacy, it's actually slightly higher than your proven ability at that moment.
That little bit of positive delusion?
Kind of. That belief you can stretch just a bit further encourages you to try harder things, gain experience, and then guess what? Your actual ability catches up.
That's like a positive upward spiral.
Yeah.
Belief fuels action. Action builds skill. Skill reinforces belief.
Which brings up a really important distinction people often mix up. Self-efficacy versus self-esteem. How are they different?
Great question. So self-efficacy is about capability for a specific thing. I believe I can climb this specific rock.
Got it. Task-focused.
Right. Self-esteem is broader. It's your overall sense of self-worth. I'm a valuable person.
So you could feel like you're terrible at rock climbing.
Low self-efficacy in climbing.
But still have perfectly healthy self-esteem overall, especially if climbing isn't, like, core to your identity.
Exactly. They're linked, for sure.
Yep.
But they aren't the same thing. Understanding that is pretty key.
Makes total sense. Okay, so we've got this internal world of beliefs shaping our potential. But what about when those beliefs start? Well, bending reality outside of us.
Now we're getting into the echo chamber effect. Or, as it's more commonly known, the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right, the idea that expecting something can actually make it happen.
Pretty much. It's a prediction that comes true, at least partly, because you believed or expected it would. We tend to act, often unconsciously, in ways that line up with our expectations.
And these can be good or bad, right? Positive spirals or negative ones.
Absolutely. And it's amazing how subtle things like just labeling someone or the way we talk to them can kickstart the whole process.
There are some classic examples. That Pygmalion in the classroom study is just mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah. Landmark study. Remind us.
Teachers were told completely at random that certain students were late bloomers, expected to show big intellectual growth that year.
And these were just average kids, randomly picked.
Exactly. But what happened? By the end of the year, those specific kids actually showed significantly greater gains than their classmates.
It wasn't magic. The teachers' higher expectations subconsciously changed their behavior. They gave those kids more time, more specific feedback, more encouragement.
What created the reality they expected. Wow.
And it's not just schools. Think about health. Sometimes the fear of something can bring it about, like among older adults.
Yeah.
A really strong fear of falling
Yeah.
can actually lead to more falls. They become overly cautious, maybe move more rigidly, lose confidence in their balance, paradoxically increasing the risk.
That's wild. Belief directly impacting physical outcomes.
And there's even that fascinating, if somber, cultural example. Research has shown that statistically, Americans of Chinese and Japanese descent have a slightly higher likelihood of dying from a heart attack on the 4th day of the month.
Why the 4th?
Because in those cultures, the number 4 sounds like the word for death and is considered extremely unlucky. The deep-seated cultural belief seems to exert a real physiological stress.
Wow. That's a really stark example of belief impacting biology. And it happens in relationships too, right? This prophecy dynamic.
Oh, definitely. There's research on rejection expectations. If you deeply believe people will reject you.
You act kind of weird, maybe defensive.
Exactly. You might behave in ways being needy or pushing people away preemptively that actually cause the rejection you feared. It can slowly wear down a partner's goodwill and commitment.
We become the architects of our own feared outcomes. It's chilling.
And this isn't a new idea. This pattern shows up in stories and myths forever. Think of Oedipus Rex.
Right. The whole tragedy happens because he tries so hard to avoid the prophecy about his parents.
His actions, driven by the prophecy, fulfilled the prophecy. The warning itself was the trigger.
Or Macbeth. The witches tell him he'll be king.
Which sparks his ambition, leading him to murder Duncan, then Banquo.
And it all unravels, leading to his own death, fulfilling the other part of the prophecy about Banquo's kids becoming kings. A total self-destruction loop fueled by belief.
Yeah. And even lighter tales, like one from the Arabian Nights, the ruined man who became rich again through a dream. A guy dreams of treasure in Cairo.
Goes there, has bad luck.
Right, but then tells his story to a guard who laughs and says, "What a fool. I dreamt of treasure buried in a specific house back in Baghdad."
And it turns out to be the first guy's own house.
Exactly. The dream itself and his acting on it ultimately led him to the treasure right under his nose. The belief set the whole chain of events in motion.
So, tying this all together,
Yeah.
What's the real cost of carrying around low self-esteem, these limiting beliefs? It sounds like it can turn you into your own worst enemy.
That's a good way to put it. You might find yourself putting up with bad treatment because you don't feel you deserve better, feeling miserable even when things are okay externally.
Missing out on opportunities, right? Because anything that requires stepping outside that tiny comfort zone feels impossible.
Absolutely. Being afraid to say no to things you don't want to do, beating yourself up constantly over tiny mistakes. It traps you.
So what causes this? Where does it come from?
Well, often it involves dwelling too much on past failures, like playing them on a loop, purposely underestimating yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that little voice saying, "Nah, I can't do that," becomes a core belief. Caring way too much about what other people think. And just constant grinding negative self-talk. It's a really vicious cycle.
Okay, but it's not hopeless. There is a path forward. It's about actively cultivating better beliefs, taking real steps. This isn't just about positive vibes. It's about, like, rewiring.
Exactly. Rewiring. And the first big step, you got to recognize and then reframe those limiting thoughts.
So catch yourself in the act.
Yes. When that negative thought pops up, I'm not good enough for this. Pause. Don't just accept it. Question it. Is there actual hard evidence for this, or is it just fear talking? Then deliberately, consciously flip the script.
Okay, so instead of I'm not good enough to manage this project,
try something like I have the skills I need and I can learn whatever else is required to succeed. Or if it's I don't have time for myself.
Reframe to
I can reorganize my schedule to prioritize my well-being and growth. It sounds simple, but you are literally training your brain, building new pathways to see possibilities.
And a good tip, if you're really stuck on whether a belief is true or just your own negative story, ask someone you trust for an objective take.
Yeah, sometimes an outside view just cuts right through it. Is that really true, or is that just the story you're telling yourself?
Okay, so reframing is step one. What else? How do we actively build that self-esteem and confidence?
Well, one really powerful way is to get good at something. Anything, really.
Like learn an instrument or a new work skill.
Exactly. Mastering a skill could be drawing, coding, cooking, anything gives your brain concrete proof. Hey, I can learn, I can improve. That feeling starts to chip away at those broader limiting beliefs. It boosts confidence overall.
That makes sense. You build evidence against the negative self-talk. And what about mistakes? We all make them.
Instead of the self-blame spiral, I'm such an idiot, pivot. Ask yourself, okay, what can I learn here? How can I do better next time?
Shifting from I suck to how can I grow?
Exactly. It's a subtle shift in language, but a massive shift in mindset. And another big one, learn to say no.
Ooh, that's hard for a lot of people.
It is. But saying no when you genuinely don't want to do something or don't have the capacity isn't selfish. It's actually vital self-respect. It tells yourself, my needs and goals matter.
And who you spend time with matters too, right?
Hugely. This can be tough advice, but you got to prune your social circle sometimes. People who consistently put you down or drain your energy, they reinforce negative self-perceptions.
So bitch the downers.
Gently, perhaps, but yes, and actively seek out supportive people. Join a club, volunteer, reconnect with positive old friends. Build a circle that lifts you up. Create your own positive echo chamber.
You know, even small things can make a difference. Like, I read that just wearing clothes that fit well and make you feel comfortable can genuinely boost how you feel about yourself that day.
Absolutely. Small habits, big impact. How you present yourself influences how you feel. Don't underestimate those little things.
Okay, so practical steps, reframing, building skills. What about more mental techniques? Like visualization.
Oh yeah, visualization is incredibly powerful for achieving goals. Yeah. It basically trains your brain to focus, to see the path to success before you even start the physical actions.
Like athletes visualizing the perfect race.
Exactly like that. Or you can use something like a vision board.
Aren't those just like cutting out pictures from magazines?
They can be, but used intentionally, they're powerful. Define your goals clearly. Find images that represent them. Update it as you evolve. Maybe add affirmations. Put it somewhere you see it often.
So it makes the goals feel more real, more tangible for your brain.
Precisely. You can even try guided visualization. There are tons of apps and videos for this. Even just picturing yourself relaxing on a beach can lower stress.
And research backs this up.
Yeah, Dr. Elisha Goldstein found even 5 minutes a day of guided meditation can significantly cut stress and boost well-being. It calms the nervous system, makes you more receptive to positive change.
Okay, let's get practical. How can you use this for, say, a big presentation or a tough conversation?
Mental practice. First, picture perfect execution. Visualize yourself nailing it, completely flawless.
Okay.
Then, engage all your senses in that visualization. What does your confident posture feel like? What does your clear voice sound like? How does the audience react positively? Feel the success.
And make it vivid.
Very vivid. And crucially, make it a routine. Practice this mental rehearsal regularly, especially before important events. It's not just wishing, it's actively preparing your brain for success.
Rehearsing success, I like that.
And finally, never underestimate the power of social support. Having people in your corner is just critical.
How so?
It helps you adapt to challenges, reminds you you're not alone.
Yeah.
When you face pressure, having support changes how you even perceive the situation. It makes the mountain feel less daunting when you know people have your back.
That's huge. So wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway?
I think it's that your beliefs aren't just thoughts buzzing around. They are fundamental architects of your reality. They shape your mental health, your actions, your relationships, everything.
Right. Whether it's tackling those limiting beliefs, building genuine self-esteem, or using tools like self-efficacy and visualization, the power starts inside.
It really does. And remembering that true self-esteem comes from within, but it's heavily influenced by your actions and the environment you create for yourself.
Okay, so here's a thought to leave you with.
Mhm.
What's one powerful belief running the show in your life right now?
Is it a limiting one holding you back? Or maybe a big dream you haven't quite dared to chase?
And think about this. What's one concrete thing, just one small step you could take today to either challenge that limitation or start visualizing that dream into reality?
Food for thought.
Definitely.
Okay.
We really hope you'll reflect on these ideas and maybe start your own journey of shaping your beliefs intentionally. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We look forward to exploring more with you next time.